Our full Week 5 review this year in the NFL. We'll start with the Thursday night game. Bears defeat the Commanders. They put up 40 points to get their first victory. Okay, enjoy it, Bears. You're not going to win too many games. That's all I'm going to talk about it. Commanders aren't a good team. The Bills lose to the Jaguars 25-30, and the Bills some weeks look like the best team in the AFC. Other weeks, they disappoint. It's not that the Jaguars are a bad team, but you should beat the Jaguars. A so-so game from Josh Allen, but the big news for the Bills is the injuries. The injuries are beginning to pile up, and that is going to be a concern for them. They get Von Miller back, but then they likely lose Matt Milano for the entire season. So those teams are both 3-2, and I expect them to both be playoff teams. Texans and Falcons. Could the Texans win another game? No, the Falcons win this one. Though Stroud continues to play well. I really don't know if Ritter is the answer at quarterback for the Falcons or not. The Falcons win. And the Lions, really establishing themselves as the third best team in the NFC. They're 4-1. 42-24, and the Panthers are a very bad team, but you do what you got to do against bad teams. And I've been a Jared Goff doubter. I have to admit, he's playing really good. 20 of 28, 3 touchdowns, no picks. Do I think he's the long-term answer for the Lions? I don't think so, but they are really setting themselves apart as one of the best teams, not just in the NFC, but all football, because the best teams are in the NFC. Colts defeat the Titans. Not much to say there. These are bad teams. Dolphins, Giants. I'm surprised it was only 31-16. Dolphins 4-1. The Giants 1-4. Daniel Jones continues to struggle. There's still no Saquon, and I just don't know what to say about the Giants. Maybe they weren't going to be as good as last year. I didn't see this much of a fall. A big injury, though, for the Dolphins. Achane, he had 151 yards rushing, but now he's going to miss several weeks. Other than that loss against the Bills, the Dolphins, I would say, best team in the AFC. It's just they got destroyed by the Bills. Saints defeat the Patriots, 34-0. I knew the Patriots weren't good this year. I would pick them, I believe I picked them to be last place in the division, which is probably what many of you would have done as well. Mac Jones really struggling and shut out. And if Bill Belichick wasn't Bill Belichick, I think his seat would be getting very hot right now, and he may even be fired over some of these losses. But I figure he's going to have till at least the end of the season, maybe one more season. And after all he's won, after all he's done, I think he would get another season. There's not much talent on the Patriots. Steelers and Ravens. I was disappointed with the Ravens. The Steelers aren't a bad team. I expected them to go into Pittsburgh and win, and kind of flat game for them. In the second half, they really didn't do much of anything. I was sort of in and out of this one. Yeah, in fact, they didn't even score in the second half. Shut out. Pittsburgh's not an easy place to win. But now they're both 3-2, these old rivals. And that division is just wide open, the North. It's not as good as we thought it would be. Here's another one I was in and out of in the afternoon. Eagles and Rams. The Eagles defense they had a great day. The Rams got Cooper Kupp back, but Matthew Stafford was just under pressure throughout this one, especially in the second half. The Eagles defense, Jalen Carter is looking like Defensive Rookie of the Year. Reddick had 2 sacks. They had 4 sacks between the two of them. Their offense still wasn't really clicking, though. Jalen Hurts and the Eagles offense, which should be scary for the rest of the league, they haven't really been in sync yet. They haven't had that rhythm. They're not firing on all cylinders, but they're winning, right? What you can't complain about 5-0, and that's exactly what the Eagles are, 5-0. Any team would take that, and they're healthy. Bengals Cardinals. Bengals get a game they need to get. They improved to 2-3, a better game from Joe Burrow. 370 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 pick. Big game from Ja'Marr Chase, 15 receptions, 192 yards. They're still in it, obviously. And I think Joshua Dobbs has played as well as he possibly could for the Cardinals. This is a team that's rebuilding. I think he's a quality quarterback. Cardinals, though, are down to 1-4. Jets Broncos. Well, this was that Hackett revenge game, and the Broncos fell to 1-4. The Jets are 2-3. They have a pulse, but you just have to keep wondering, what if they had Rodgers? What if they had Rodgers? Big game for Breece Hall, 177 yards rushing. And the Jets have a good defense. They do. Chiefs-Vikings. The Chiefs didn't play that great in this game. I think the big story for them was Travis Kelce. It looked like maybe he hurt his ACL, but he ended up being okay. He played this past Thursday, just a few days ago. Chiefs win. They're 4-1 after starting off 0-1. They're not shooting themselves in the foot. They're not defeating themselves. They're not hurting themselves. But this is a far cry from the Chiefs we're used to. And we'll get into that more with this past Thursday's game. Again, they're 4-1. The Vikings are 1-4. And if things weren't bad enough for the Vikings, Justin Jefferson's now on IR. And then the Sunday night game. I did a separate review on the Sunday night game. 42-10, 49ers just dismantle the Cowboys. I mean, it was a thorough beating. I mean, the fact that the 49ers pulled most of the starters in the early fourth quarter really said it all. The two defenses, the Cowboys, we were told, had the best defense in football. That's what the numbers would say. But they weren't. They weren't really tested, and Brock Purdy was just masterful. I mean, you go back and look at the film, this looks better every time I see it. You can say whatever you want. 49ers are 5-0, and he just keeps on winning, and it's not that he's a game manager. He's making big plays. It's just the one trait you can pull out is that so many of the experts are saying is processing. He processes so fast. Is it true the 49ers have as good of a supporting cast and weapons as you could have? Yes, but his decision making is just so decisive, so quick. He's doing as well as anyone right now. And to do that to what was supposed to be the best defense in football, okay. 49ers now have the best point differential in football. I love what Micah Parsons said when he was doing his show on Bleacher Report. Well, we think we're really on the same level as the 49ers still, and we're the same caliber of team as they are. What kind of dreamland are you living in? You should have got blown out in the playoffs 2 years ago in Dallas. The only reason you didn't was because of Jimmy Garoppolo holding us back. Last year, the Cowboys did play hard. They did keep it close. But this year, I mean, the 49ers are clearly better, and the Cowboys are, at best, the same. Maybe worse. And then his response to the George Kittle shirt. Yeah, it's just sort of like, wait and see until we face you again in the playoffs. And Deebo Samuel's, his response was just perfect. If we play you again, it may be worse. It'll be just as bad, if not worse. Because the 49ers held back. They could have ran it up more. I mean, the fact that they pulled the starters as early as they did, I want them to get 49. Make it 49-10. And they could have done that, and they could have done that with ease. But, you know, if we're looking at the past couple games, the Cardinals gave the 49ers a much tougher game and challenge than the Cowboys did. I mean, Dobbs was much better than Prescott. It was a closer game. They fought harder. They played better. They were better coached. They were better prepared. I mean, you could really just see the game plan that the Cardinals had. You couldn't really see that so much with the Cowboys. The 49ers were prepared for everything. And coming out of the game, though, you sit there and say to the 49ers that they've been defined by defense. Let's just say during the Garoppolo seasons, and then at the end of last year, even with Purdy, while they're putting up more points. Now you can say, well, which one's better? Is it the offense or the defense? And that's why they're so good. They have one of the very best defenses, a top 3 defense, and I'd say a top 3 offense. That's why you say, if you're going to win a Super Bowl, this is the year to do it. And this looks like it's between 49ers and Eagles. And if you're picking a third team, it's definitely not the Cowboys. It's the Lions, who are playing tough. They play defense. And they appear to be the most improved team in the NFC. If I was going to pick a fourth team, probably the Seahawks. It's a great win. I'm still enjoying this and just taking it all in, and we just had a great week here after that victory over the Cowboys. And then the final game on the schedule was the Monday night game, and the Raiders win, but this was just so classic Jimmy Garoppolo. 208 yards passing, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. He's going to beat teams like this. The Raiders are 2-3, and I am so tired of all the Garoppolo defenders. Yeah, he's an average quarterback, and he's going to win a lot of games on a great football team. He's going to be sub 500 this year. I'm sure of it. The Raiders are going to be under 500. And with the Packers, Jordan Love, folks, he's not going to be Brett Favre or Aaron Rodgers. He's young, but 182 yards, just 16-30. No touchdowns and 3 interceptions for him. And the Packers are 2-3, and they should really be 1-4. They had no business winning that game against the Saints. If Derek Carr didn't get hurt, they weren't winning that game. I mean, how good of a coach is Matt LaFleur, really? My opinion about Matt LaFleur is that he's an okay coach, and he racked up tons of wins because he had Aaron Rodgers. And then we can look at week 5. excuse me, week 6. It is rushing by the NFL season as always. And the Chiefs-Broncos Thursday night game. Oh, this was a stinker. And this is more of the same from the Chiefs. They win, and now they're 5-1. And perhaps they're the best team in the AFC. They could be. Again, this is not the same Chiefs team. Patrick Mahomes, 30 of 40, 360 yards, a touchdown, a pick. Big game from Kelsey, but what else do they have? I mean, Pacheco's a good dual threat. I'm just not scared of the Chiefs. I mean, who's scared of the Chiefs anymore? And their defense, you can run on that defense, you can pass on that defense. It's more just about how bad the Broncos were. I mean, Russell Wilson, a touchdown, 2 interceptions. I mean, he threw that interception to Bolton, and I was just saying, what is he looking at there? And Sean Payton and Russell Wilson, that experiment, 1-5. Again, if the Broncos didn't invest so much into Sean Payton, would he not have already potentially lost his job? And then, how can you explain this decline of Russell Wilson? I really don't know what to say about this. I saw him for all these years destroy the 49ers. He was one of my 49er destroyers. I considered him the second greatest 49er destroyer. He had ownership over the 49ers more than any other player not named Brett Favre in my lifetime as a fan. And look at him. I think generally he's played better this year, but I mean, 12 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. It's just not quite right. I mean, he still has the arm. Maybe he's lost a little athleticism, but he has more than enough. And I keep saying it week after week. The Broncos are just not a very good team. They're just an average talent team. Well, it's not only that, though. They're 1-5. When you're 1-5, you suck. You're one of the worst teams in football, and they are one of the worst teams in football. I mean, the only win they had came against the Bears. And the Bears are indeed one of the worst teams in the league, and that's who you're keeping company with, the Bears. And the Chiefs, come on, I got to call the Chiefs out for wearing the red on red. What is that all about? Red on red. But I don't like the schedule making, though. That's my complaint. You knew the Broncos weren't going to be anything more than an average team, and you put that average team on a Thursday night football game, interdivisional game, and then you put the superior favored team at home hosting the weaker team. It would have at least been more interesting in Denver. I mean, the game was as predictable can be. I was only disappointed in the Chiefs. They should have put up 30. They should have easily put up 30, and they didn't. So that's week 5 and the first game of week 6. We'll do a week 6 preview too, coming up. Now this goes to the preview of week 6. Just said the Chiefs defeated the Broncos by that score of 19-8. Chiefs win. And, you know, it would be interesting to see. I wish we could have a rematch of that opening game between the Lions and the Chiefs. And I changed my opinion. If they played now and the Chiefs even had Kelsey and Chris Jones, I'd pick the Lions to win. Okay, for the Sunday games, Ravens-Titans. Now, the Ravens should get back on track. And this is an international game. Can I say an ugly uniform game, too? Yes. Including the second game, too. Commanders-Falcons. No comment on that one. Vikings-Bears. Man, these are 2 bad games here for the morning. Seahawks-Bengals. Seahawks playing good football after that first loss. They're 3-1. The Bengals are 2-3. This one's in Cincinnati, and we're going to learn a lot about both of these teams. Either the Bengals go to 3-3, or the Seahawks are going to be an impressive 4-1. They had the bye last week. 49ers Browns. Forecast is for some wet weather there in Cleveland, and these are two excellent defenses. And I would expect a lower scoring game. But then again, I said that last week with the 49ers against the Cowboys. I was expecting a lower scoring game. But P.J. Walker's starting for the Browns. They don't have Nick Chubb. Although the Browns have a good defense, they're just not going to be able to keep up. I mean, the only thing that might slow down the 49ers a little bit is if the weather's a factor. This is the best team in football. They can beat you with the run. They can beat you with the pass. They force turnovers. Unless it's a really soggy field and the conditions are worse than we expect, the 49ers should win by 17. I could see this being 27-10. It could be 30-10, 30-7. Or worse. Sorry, Browns. Ran into the wrong team at the wrong time. And the 49ers continue to put 30 or more every week. I thought the trend was going to stop and end last week against the Cowboys, and they put it 42. They put up the most points they have this year. Panthers-Dolphins. This is the 0-5 Panthers versus Dolphins offense. Again, Achan's out. It's not going to matter. Mostert, Tyreek Hill, Waddle, and the rest of the Dolphins, they're going to win this one as well. I see another potential blowout. We're talking about a blowout with the 49ers and Browns. Well, this certainly should be with the Dolphins. So far, that's what I'm saying. The schedule is a weak schedule for week 6. Where are the good matchups here? Colts and Jaguars. What do I need to say about that? They're both 3-2. They're not good teams. Saints at Texans. Texans could win that game. I think it'll be very close. Patriots and Raiders. Jimmy Garoppolo is going to get the game against his former team. I don't know how much it really matters now. And then we got the coaches. Belichick versus McDaniels. Cardinals-Rams. I see the Rams winning a close one, but would I be shocked if the Cardinals win? I wouldn't be. Eagles and Jets. Oh, this would have been one of the games of the year if Aaron Rodgers was in there. I expect the Jets to keep it close. Low defensive game in New York. Zach Wilson. Zach Wilson's just going to make a mistake or two. Jalen Hurts not playing his best. Well, I think with Jalen Hurts, we're finding out who he is. I don't know if he was as good as he was last year. He's still good. The Eagles should go to 6-0. Lions and Buccaneers 4-1 versus 3-1. You know, the Buccaneers have played a little better than we thought they would. To this point, Lions should win this one. It's one of those afternoon or late afternoon games in Tampa Bay. So I expect the Lions to be 5-1. And here's the one that upsets me. Sunday night game. Enough of these giant Sunday night football games. I've had it with Sunday night, Monday night, Thursday night, primetime Giants games. Forget the fact they're 1-4. There's too much Giants. Way too much Giants. And this is the game for the Bills to get better. I mean, this is that Bills game where they're going to bounce back. They're going to put 37, 40, 41 points on the Giants. And the Giants are going to 1-5. I don't think they have a chance in this game. Bills are 3-2. I know they have the injuries, but they're going to be very motivated on Sunday Night Football. I see, on this schedule, at least 3 blowouts. The 49ers, Dolphins, and Bills should all win big. Cowboys and Chargers. Another primetime game for the Cowboys. I would love it if they lost. I gotta think they're gonna pull this one out. But the Chargers have enough talent to win. It's just the Chargers are inconsistent. They're not well coached. It could go either way. Really could go either way, Chargers or Cowboys. I think the Cowboys will pull it out. But overall, a bad week 6 with scheduling, and there isn't a good game on the schedule. I mean, so I'm sorry. Don't tell me that the Buccaneers and Lions is a premier matchup. It isn't. There's nothing on the rest of the schedule. Actually, the Chargers-Cowboys may be the most interesting game that we have. So we'll see and do the full review next week.